eventful day in wrestling news today. Sheamus was approached by WWE to restructure his contract, probably like the New Day was earlier this year. They were asked to take a 50% pay cut. I don't know if that was the case for Sheamus, but he was definitely asked to take less, and he said no. So he's going to be leaving the company. He has already changed his name on social media to Stephen Farrelly. That doesn't have quite as nice of a ring to it as Sheamus. Hopefully he's got a new ring name lined up, but he's going to be leaving the company soon. That's according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. He denied their contract offer, their restructured contract offer, and he's going to be leaving soon. His last match in the company was on November 17th, 2025, where he teamed up with John Cena and Rey Mysterio to defeat the Judgment Day in a 6-man tag match. That was it. That's the last we're going to get of Sheamus. He never got to hold the Intercontinental Championship. I expected that to be his retirement storyline. He's going to win the title finally, and then Gunther would end his career in a year or two. I thought that's how this was going to go. He's been in WWE for almost 2 decades, 19 years pretty much, almost 2,000 matches in the company, and they just let him go. I thought he earned more than that, but that's not the case. But this list is 25 and Big Boom AJ thrown in to make it 26, but 25 matches in AEW I'd like to see Sheamus have. I went through their roster real quick. I'm not going to put Kip Sabian on this list because I don't want to see that match. Anybody who I have no interest in seeing that match happen, I just left off the list. This list is strictly people matches I want to see Sheamus have in AEW, starting with Adam Copeland, aka Edge. That's an S tier, which we'll just say special. I really want to see that match in AEW because Edge's last match in WWE was in 2023 against Sheamus, and it was a great match. They had never had a singles match before that. They've had tag team matches before that match, but they had never had a singles match against each other. It was Edge's final WWE match. I'd love to see them run it back in AEW. It'd be interesting to see what they could do. They could probably have a 30-minute pay-per-view match. Tony Khan wouldn't object to that. Instead of having that match on SmackDown, give these guys a proper storyline. Old legends trying to duke it out one last time. Why not? I would love to see that match again in AEW. Andrade, that's an A tier for me. Andrade's great. He screwed over the Don Callis family at Forbidden Door. He's got more heel turns than the Big Show now between heel and babyface, but I like Andrade a lot. I think he's much better off in AEW. He just was never going to get above a certain level in WWE. In AEW, he could, realistically win the AEW World Championship sometime down the line. He was never going to win the WWE title or the World Heavyweight Championship. He was the United States champion. That's about it. But I would love to see Andrade versus Sheamus. They're both badass talents. Why wouldn't you want to see that match? So I'll put that in A tier. Another A tier match to me is Bobby Lashley. There's 2 behemoths. Bring it on. I'd love to see this. Just brick shit houses. As Big E would say, big meaty men slapping meat.
Big meaty men slapping meat. That's what I want.
That's what this match would be. Just a barn burner. JR should return to commentary if he's healthy enough to call that match. Sheamus versus Bobby Lashley. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see that match in AEW with the Hurt Business ringside getting involved. It would be great. I'll go Brian Cage on B tier. They've never really done anything with Brian Cage in AEW. I think he's still in the Don Callis family. I think he just came back from injury and on Collision unceremoniously. So I just there's no future really for Brian Cage in AEW. I think he's in his 40s now. It's not going to happen for him. But I'd love to see a match with Sheamus that just beat the hell out of each other again. Big meaty men slapping meat. Next up is ROH champion Bandito. I'll throw that in B tier as well. A lot of people love Bandito. I think he's very talented in the ring. I just don't know how excited I'd be for that match. Brody King, on the other hand, that's an S tier match for me. I want to see that. Brody King versus Sheamus. They just beat the hell out of each other. They would tear the house down, I think. I would absolutely love to see Brody King versus Sheamus in AEW, so that's S tier for me. Another S tier is Buddy Murphy, because Buddy Murphy is, one of the best wrestlers on the planet. He's just injured right now in AEW. When he comes back, he'll remind everybody in the world that he's one of the best in-ring wrestlers on the planet. He's not that good at promos, but Sheamus could carry that load. Buddy Murphy could get the best out of Sheamus in the ring at 48 years old. Buddy could carry the match once he's back from injury. I would love to see that, so that's S tier as well. Another S tier we're going is Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli, the Death Riders, because Sheamus and Cesaro, we are the Bar reuniting. Maybe Sheamus can be the new member of the Death Riders, or Claudio could finally break away, reunite with Sheamus. They could go after the tag titles in AEW. There's a lot of possibility there, but also they could just beat the hell out of each other. And who doesn't want to see Sheamus and Claudio Castagnoli tear the house down. I'd love to see that, but I'm more interested in the bar angle there, that former tag team with Sheamus and Cesaro reuniting in AEW, maybe taking over the division. They could face Christian Cage and Cope if they're still the champions, and whenever Sheamus, his contract ends, and then his 90-day non-compete clause would have to expire, I believe, as well, but that's way down the line. But I would love to see Sheamus and Claudio reunite or battle each other in AEW. Sheamus versus Darby Allin is S tier for me, simply because Darby Allin can take all the punishment in the world. It's just Sheamus could beat the shit out of Darby Allin for 25 minutes and then still lose to Darby Allin, because that's how Darby Allin operates. But again, Darby Allin is a human crash test dummy. Sheamus could hit him with 400 bro kicks. Sign me up. I'll go Hangman Adam Page in A tier. Hangman has been out for a few months since Double or Nothing, since losing to MJF. He can no longer challenge for the AEW World Championship. This would be an interesting storyline for Hangman. He doesn't seem to get along with veterans. They could bring up his issues with CM Punk, the old WWE veteran. He's trying to protect the locker room since he can't win the title. He's protecting the locker room now from Sheamus. There's some interesting storylines there. Or it's just a cowboy versus a badass. That's the storyline. But I'd love to see that match, so that's an A tier for me. Jake Doyle, Jake something, whatever. It's a D. I'll put it in C. I'll throw it in. No, I'm going in D, because I don't know much about Jake Doyle, other than he's, looks like $1 million, and that's about it. So hopefully Sheamus can bring the best out of him. This would be more for Jake Doyle, not for Sheamus. This would be more for getting Jake. Is it Jake Doyle or Jack Doyle? I keep getting the freaking former Colts tight end, Andrew Luck's favorite target, stuck in my head, but I think it's Jake Doyle, formerly Jake something in TNA. I would like to see that match, but not all that much. Jay White, I'll throw that in B tier as well. He's very charismatic. He just came back. It would be an interesting match, but not overly excited about it. Chris Jericho, I'll throw that in A tier. Probably wouldn't be a good in-ring match at this point, although Jericho's been pretty solid since his return, and they could tell a good story there. I would be way more invested in the storyline than the actual match between Sheamus and Chris Jericho. Jon Moxley, I'd have to throw in S tier as well, though. That just what Jon Moxley is now, just like this character. You bring Sheamus in, maybe Sheamus confronts him, maybe Sheamus wants to take down the Death Riders and he's going to try to go after Jon Moxley first. That could be a great pay-per-view match down the line. Another great match, I'll throw this in S tier as well. Sheamus versus Kenny Omega. I would have thought of that match, but hell, why wouldn't I want to see that? Kenny Omega's facing MJF for the AEW World Championship on Dynamite this week. If he loses, much like Hangman Adam Page, he can't challenge for the title again. So you bring Sheamus in after he loses that match, give him some kind of exciting rivalry, but just the in-ring match, I'm just intrigued of the Styles clash, no pun intended, of AJ Styles' finishing move there, but the clashing of styles between Sheamus and Kenny Omega just intrigues me. I think that would be an entertaining match. Kyle Fletcher is another S tier for me, because I still am holding out hope that Kyle Fletcher is the future of AEW, and Sheamus could help him get him there. And Kyle Fletcher just needs work with experienced veterans who have been there and done it. Sheamus is a former WWE champion. Maybe he can help Kyle Fletcher take his character work to the next level, and he obviously will get a great match out of him as well. Another S tier is MJF, because they have history. MJF and Sheamus traded words on social media several years ago. MJF called him out today. He called him O'Shaughnessy. Just a ridiculous insult there by MJF. I would love to see that. I would love to see MJF versus Sheamus. MJF could run him down in the promos, and Sheamus can, battle back and just be that fighting brute that he is in the match. He doesn't have to do all the promo work. MJF could carry that in this storyline, but I just want to see MJF versus Sheamus. Now that's a possibility. I want to see it. Mark Briscoe, I'll throw in the A tier, just because I really enjoyed Mark Briscoe as a singles star. Unfortunately, the passing of his brother Jay Briscoe forced him into that role, and I think he's excelled in it. I think he's just been great in it. And I would love to see Mark Briscoe versus Sheamus. It's just a wild match. And S tier is Samoa Joe versus Sheamus for obvious reasons. This is just two guys with similar badass styles. They're not flipping around. They're just going to beat the hell out of each other. I'd love to see it. I don't need to really explain that one that much. Who the hell wouldn't want to see Samoa Joe versus Sheamus? Will Ospreay, I'll have to throw him in S tier as well. That's just because he's the future of AEW. He's likely going to win the AEW World Championship at All In. from MJF. I'm assuming that's the case. I don't think they're going to have MJF drop the title to Kenny Omega. So just Will Ospreay versus Sheamus, just another clashing of styles that would be intriguing to me. Just Will Ospreay's just more athletic and better in the ring at this point than Kenny Omega, as Kenny Omega is kind of at the back nine of his career. So that would be a better match than Sheamus versus Kenny Omega. So I'd be really interested in seeing Will Ospreay versus Sheamus. Swerve Strickland, I'll throw in A tier as well. He lost to Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door in the main event. As a result of the win, Ospreay is going to be challenging for the World Championship at All In. There's about 48,000 finishers during that match. It was egregious, still a good match, but holy crap, land the plane. So many false finishes during that match. But Swerve Strickland came out on the losing end. He's still incredibly popular. He's one of AEW's biggest stars, and a rivalry against Sheamus would be great. They could get personal like they did with Hangman, or they could just make a match and kill each other in the ring. I'm fine with either or. This is just a joke. I'd love to see Sheamus versus Big Boom AJ just hit a brogue kick to that Dingleberry's face, but that's just a joke. And Wardlow, I mean, it should be an S tier if he was healthy, but he's never healthy. The American Gladiator now. Is he even a wrestler anymore? I want to see him back soon. He's just lost all of his mystique, all of his aura. So I don't know how you could put that above a C, but I'm still going to have it on there because Sheamus versus Wardlow, their styles, it would be a great match. I don't know, great might be a stretch. It would be a spectacle. So I'll throw it at C. Pac. B, just because Pac is his physique now. He's gone from like a cruiserweight to a brick shithouse of a man. So Pac versus Sheamus would be entertaining. Hook, just to breathe some life into that guy's career. I'll put that in B, just a veteran against Hook, maybe to see if there's something besides the cool haircut there, for the love of God. And finally, Eddie Kingston, I'll throw an A tier just for the promos. Eddie Kingston versus Sheamus, just be a bar fight. I'd like to see that, but that is it for this video. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Also, let me know who you would want to see Sheamus face in All Elite Wrestling. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.